What's up, Trios Tribe? Bringing you guys another top 16. Woo. Another BT21 tournament happens this weekend on, was it May 31st, which was exciting. Hosted by Play TCG in Mesquite, Texas. If you guys got to go, congrats. I mean, I don't know what else to say, but this tournament was actually live streamed by me and, well, me and Digipanda commentated it. The stream production was hosted by Espira. If you've seen them on TCG, or on the YouTubes, they definitely do a lot of Bandai card game material. So you've probably seen them around if you follow the Bandai space as a whole. So sick. Really proud of that stream. Like unironically, really like super proud of that stream. I don't know. I just like in terms of my entire catalog of commentating work, I definitely think that like probably is my number one best performance as like an entertainer slash, you know, commentator upon the game. So if you guys have a chance, go check it out. It's on this screen here. Oh, we didn't link it. Oh, it's on the Play TCG Stadium channel on Twitch TV. So if you guys check it out, please take a time to check it out. It was a wonderful stream. Me and Digipanda had a blast. It was honestly the best work I've ever done. So I'm sure it's entertaining, and I'm sure you'll have a time. And not to mention, like, it's just great. Anyway, let's get into the list. We got our top 16 and Digimon takeover, I guess. I'm starting to think, like, I don't know how to feel about Digimon. I still don't think it's quite being respected by the player base at large. At the same time, it just might have a unique place in the meta where the things that beat Digimon kind of just lose to everything else in the format. So like there's just like this weird timeline we live in. It's also kind of like a situation of it's like the hero it's like the Batman, right? It's like the hero we deserve but not the hero we need or something, just because like the community as a whole, especially if you guys come to live streams, the community as a whole has like banded together and just been like championing this deck as the way we get Gravity Crush set to 1. So we'll talk about that list as we go in, but most importantly, I think like the biggest thing to talk about, we had 371 players, 9 rounds. Hong from the Hong Zero channel, godfather of DCGO itself, takes it with Adventure. And Adventure is like, this is like the first time Adventure gets anything done, which is kind of insane, man. Like, wow. Like we'll get into some of the differences. I knew Adventure personally, like, let's not make it about me, but like I knew Adventure was good. I knew there was something there. It just took like, the right cooks in the right oven and the right pilot to like take it all the way. So we'll go and see that when we can. We got a bunch of other stuff to talk about. Is the meta super diverse? Let's see. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 lists in the top 16. That's not too bad. That means maybe every deck's represented twice. Obviously an overrepresentation of Digimon, but still pretty diverse. I think this comes out to like what, 37% of the format is Digimon, which could be kind of high. We'll see going forward. I really don't know how to feel about this meta, man. I think it's part of unification. My brain just doesn't. It's also the lack of events too. We have most of our brains are like set to store regional mode, so it's really hard to really put my. I know I'm delaying the deck list talk. I'm sorry, but let's just start where we always start. We start from the bottom, we make our way up. So at 7-2, 16th place, we got a Galaxy list being able to squeak by Alejandro Zuniga. All right, I have some people's names. I have some people's usernames. We'll see where we go. Seems like a pretty traditional Galaxy list. I don't mean to belittle, but this is definitely, I've tried, like, there's been a lot of people kind of experimenting and trying to branch all over the place with potential top ends for Galaxy. I've seen Medusamon, I've seen Dinomon, I've seen a lot of people trying to transition to a red higher end. We've seen Wingdramon at level 5s. Like, there's been a lot of mixing it up, and Alejandro said just like, y'all are joking. Y'all are trolling. Like what are we doing? Like, the old stuff's still the good stuff. So proving that first and foremost proving it are from level 3 all the way to level 4 kind of stays the same. Here where people are here at the level 5s, people are trying to experiment, but Alejandro says nope, 2 Flaremon, 4 Cressy, 3 Honkumon. People aren't playing things like like Medieval Gallantmon as much, so we can go back to our roots. And Invisimon, one hell of a card. Hexabot, one hell of a card. Mirage Galgamon, one hell of, like, just really good generic blue top end, right? Like the fact that we can even play Gallimon X antibody on top of that, just like for some kind of immune body that we could potentially ace into, get a trash, get an unsuspend potentially, and then Omnimon X antibody is a great finisher. Really great aggression from this deck. I mean, and then after that we see a collection of blue scrambles, Wisteria memory boost. Just kind of being able to search the entire deck off of Wisteria memory boost is just kind of busted. So 16th place, Alejandro Zuniga. I wish there was more I could say about Galaxy, but really, I mean, the most interesting card here is that we are on the Bond of Friendship Gabumon, so cool. But realistically speaking, Galaxy is just, you know, a solid compact thing. And like I said, like you kind of went with the tried and true that we've known about, right? So nothing crazy here, just like 1 or 2 tweaks and let you get your invite. So congrats, Alejandro. We're gonna move on to 10th place, 7 and 2. Thick Shady 14, one of the username ones. Blue Green Imperial, still a good deck. We see it all the time at Eagle's Nest. Michael Yofrate takes it over and over again. Constantly we see the craziness that this deck is able to accomplish. The Stingmon hit really just meant that, like, oh, I guess we get to play Lydramon now, is really what the deck did. Really where the strength is in this deck is, like, you know, Pyldra and oh my god, Return of the Primogenitor with these memory gaining level 4s are still insanity to me. We have now, I mean, thanks to Stingmon being gone, we have room for hidden potential. Like we put in scrambles. Paladin mode is definitely a card seeing more and more value in a world of Megidramon. Medieval Gallant is a great card, and Hexablow, great card. Just like really toolbox, like really trimming down the 6s. Like there's so many different 6s the deck wants to play, but we're just trimming them down. Nothing is at greater than at a 2 copy, I should say, and that being here the fighter mode and the dragon mode. Dragon mode being probably the traditional play. Like we want to go dragon mode, Primogenitor, dragon mode, spit these out, gain a ton of memory. It's the classic for Blue Green Imperial at this point. Notably speaking, our eggs, because of the loss of the Stingmon, I believe most people have transitioned into draw Digibubbles. Just pick your 5, man. Pick your version of 5. What do you think is more important? This player thought if you have a green Digimon, draw a card is a little better than if you have jamming, draw a card. There's definitely reasons for that. We can explain like the use cases, blah blah blah. But fundamentally, this Mman, the BT12 one's probably just the better one anyway. And then just I feel like I've talked about Imperial so much, so there's nothing too unique standing out for me. If you guys want me to go through it, the standard ratio of Tamers 4 and 2, and we have a collection of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 level 6s, which is kind of high when you really think about it, but a lot of our toolbox scenario does come from our 6s, so is what it's got to be. 1 Paladin mode, hidden potential discover, no Hammer Spark, no Ice Wall. We have 13 level 3s and 11 4s. Sounds to be quite, I think 13 rookies has been where most people kind of agree the deck should be in. I guess notably speaking too, like there's no Jade Memory Boost. That is definitely a card that's been coming up on the deck list, but deciding nah, we don't need to play Jade Memory Boost. You just play a single scramble and all engine essentially. So makes sense. Congrats, Thick Shady 14 on your 10th place top. That's really it. Now another deck that I'm sure a lot of people are going to be clicking the thumbnail or clicking the just, you know, chomping at the bit to see, right? Heroes. We have 2 heroes lists, and actually if you watch the stream, not this player but our other player, Heroes, was able to make it, and it's really off the sorry, this is 12th place, 7 coming at 7 and 2. Charles Lowe, double Lowe, like Lowe's. Whatever. And yeah, it's the Appmon version. So a lot of decks on the early on for heroes, we saw even at Eagle's Nest, people trying to make the Sirius Mon the key, the star level 6, or the Shine Greymon the star level 6, or maybe just pivoting into a different level 6 entirely, like the promo Greymon, War Greymon, or the Ace War Greymon, or something like, you know, or yeah, War Greymon. And you guys know what I'm saying there, and it's just hasn't been really working for people in scenarios. But here we're with adding the Appmon engine stuff with the level 4, the 5, the 6, which isn't a heroes. We're actually willing to we're actually willing to whiff on the hero trait to be our level 6 and our collection of tamers, right? But this is 12th place. Charles, like I said, let's start from the basics. We have Gachmon is a hero. When this Digimon gets linked, if you have one or fewer tamers, you may play a Haru. Doesn't quite come up, but the raid and the link potential probably does, is where we really care about this. Also having our hero rook, just having a collection of rookies is probably at its best, especially since giving our attacks raid might give us that diversity we're looking for. Vmon has become the best hero rookie. Definitely just being able to reduce the Digivolution cost by 1 is insane. We're going into a Goonie for 1. And that has its advantages. We're going into a Restordramon for 1, playing at 4 cost tamers for free for 1 memory is crazy. The Dogachmon's a little more expensive, probably, and it gives a little bit more credence to being the Vmon. A Restordramon Superior Mode is probably the best level 5, but also playing 4 Globemon, because Globemon is needed for, you know, the potential OTK that this deck has after. Actually, Charles opting not to kind of go with the OTK version of the deck, and then we'll start explaining that into when we go into the next list. But this deck does have OTK potential as soon as turn 2 or 3 if you play the right cards. But here, our level 6s, we're playing the Gaiamon, we're playing the Valkyriemon at Ace, which is interesting because we are sitting on an Restordramon Superior most of the time. So, like, you know, let's start minusing 5k. Let's start minusing 4k the bird to get those pesky Megidramon low-end boards out of the way. Imperial this is still a great counter to Imperial, right? Like, there's so many decks that still kind of suffer from a blanket minus 5k, right? Even if it's only like on a singular turn. That being said, our collection, the things that surprise me about the heroes list is still like, why are we playing Tai? I would love if people could explain to me more why Tai feels useful in heroes. Most of the time I'm just like, I see Tai and I'm like, it could have just been a 3rd hero. It could have just been a 4th Takuya, even though 3 Takuya feels really high for this, for our deck like this as well, but I digress. Yeah, no, great list, a great time. I think it was really cool. Congrats on 12th place. Let's talk about the next heroes list. 7th place, coming in at 7, 1 tie, 1 loss. Shooting Star, someone we saw multiple times on stream with a wonderful deck, wonderful stuff. You're seeing that the kind of pretty close to the same thing. We're seeing the Guillaumon, we're seeing a little less Vmon, Gachmon, and then we're filling in with Gumdramon. I don't believe the other user, our other player decided to have more Vmon, have the Solarmon for some, but no, just getting the Gumdramon, getting just more cards in hand. Why do we need the raw draw power? Because this deck is trying to find Fire Rocket, and not only are we trying to find Fire Rocket, but we're trying to find our level 6s that can't be searched with the rest of the deck, right? Like, well, I guess the whole deck doesn't search at all, right? We're just going through raw draw power and offense training. So because of that, the draw power just lets us just be where we want to be, right? Like, because we just raw draw, we are not bottom decking these Fire Rockets. We're not bottom decking any of these options or any of these tamers or whatever, all these utility pieces. Everything gets raw drawn into our hands. So eventually we're going to see our Gaiamon, and essentially we see the Globemon. And the big combo I've been talking about, like, as soon as turn 2, this deck can OTK. And how does it does that? Well, let's say, I don't know, let's say you have an infinite memory, right? You promote the Vmon, reduce the Digivolution cost. Let's say you go into a Arrestor. Sure. Digivolve into your level 4 for 1. Off the back of a Toguru, or actually it should be either, I think you have to have Toguru on the board, or a Gunimon. But that being said, you can... No, you're good. It's hard for me to always contextualize it and like say it out loud to people, but you go into your level 4, it could be any of them. Then you go into, you give yourself Fire Rocket once you're at a 2-color Digimon. Ideally, that's why it's not a Gunimon, because you want to go Rester or Dogotch, give yourself Fire Rocket. So now you have 2 checks. Go a superior mode, swing without suspending, that's 2 checks, right? Then the normal attack, another 4 checks. From there, you just go Gaia, even if it passes turn, you can go Gaiamon, link the Globemon. Gaiamon will unsuspend itself and trash the will when Digivolving trash the security, and then because it trashed the security, the second effect triggers to unsuspend itself. Alright, no. It will, when Digivolving, it will link. Then when this Digimon gets linked, you get to unsuspend and trash the security. That's trashing the last security. And then from there, the Globemon, when linking, or no, sorry. The Dogotch is the one we're looking for. The Dogotch is the when linking, we can attack, kind of like a pseudo blitz, going for game in a single fell swoop. Versions of this list I've seen going around are actually incorporating Grav Crush and stuff, but Shooting Star here, choosing not to do any of that, keeping it simple, keeping it easy, like having our security actually matter a little bit more. We got more offense trainings, we got the red memory boost. We only have 1 Takuya because we're focusing on trying to keep just making sure we can find the line. Playing Medieval versus the Valkyriemon is also interesting, but I digress. No, Heroes, the Appmon version of Heroes is definitely probably has proven to be the strongest version, and I know we're gonna see a lot of people kind of excited to play this deck. Honestly, like, we'll see going forward if Shooting Star and Charles were able to excite the player base into playing this deck more. So yeah, no, I'm excited. I hope you guys are excited. Like, it's Heroes, man. I think this is a lot of deck people were trying to make work, and 2 people did, which is really cool. That being said, let's move on to the next list. We got our first Royal Knights to talk about out of 3, I believe. 7 and 2, Luis Galindo, I don't know, whatever. Royal Knights, one of the best decks of the last format, continues being one of the best decks in this format. The biggest change here coming into this deck is definitely the addition of Promo Gallant. Promo Gallant goes so well in this deck, right? Like, at any point you can delete a 13k by playing this thing, and if you just want to play this guy, it's a recover 1, and that's just busted. I know, like, you also, like, I mean, this Alphamon also recovers you 1, but then like you miss out on, so you get the -8k. It's just like you have now 2 different ways to get the recovery while also getting like other utility effects. This is nice for the -8k, a defensive play, but if you just need to get rid of something, just play this guy. Kind of nuts. Also, he has Rush, so you could play him off of Genku, swing. We're not playing the Genku in this current in Lewis's list, but from there, we're playing the Gatsu to stop Megidramon, Omekamons, and Omekamons are standard here. Medieval Gallant also to kind of hinder our opponent from, just floodgates are good, right? It's a good red one, right? That being said, after that, 3 Omnimon. I think people were telling me in the last video that this is a pretty high Omnimon count, but I still think 3 is like, makes sense to me. I don't know. 1 Digimon Emperor to try to stop any kind of like slow down people who are trying to promote rookies, makes sense. Queen's Device to stop our own opponent's floodgates. Crimson Blaze feels a little out of place just because potentially like it's an out to floodgates, but it's also like, it's also a nice out to Megidra now that I think about it. So I guess that's good. It's one thing to think about. Just ways to stop Megidra are definitely important. Purge, and then this is infinitely better than Gatsumon against Megidra, right? Like 100%. Purge of the Royal Knights, 4 and 4 for Cool Boy. It all makes sense to me. We got 2 more of these to talk about, so congrats. I don't think Royal Knights has evolved too much. Just adding the Gallantmons, or adding the promo Gallantmons, and then just kind of taking it away from there is always an interesting feat to talk about. Let's talk about the next list. Royal Knights, Cameron Osceola. Osceola? Anyway, Cam, Fort Lauderdale area-ish, Davie area, whatever, Florida man. Part of a clique of friends I have. And congrats, they were able to get now they've been able to they're able to get their invite early, so congrats to them and a couple of other of my friends that went out there, so it'll be fun to talk about their list. Royal Knights again, the decisions, like you're starting to see some of the decision points here. Like Cam here has 2 Dynasmon is great. To answer Floodgates, we play the War Growl Ace, which I kind of like more. Like gives you, it feels like the more flexible card, I think, is the thing, because you can always, like, you can play this guy, gain memory. So he actually, this War Growl probably usually only plays itself for 4 most of the time, maybe 3 if you high roll, right? Like, or God forbid, like 2 or 1. And then from there, you can Digivolve most of your level 5s or level 6s, right? Like all your guys that Digivolve off red. So I don't know, like you could just Digivolve. You have a body to Digivolve off of. Like imagine like there's a world where you have War Growl, you Digivolve into this Jesmon, and you're deleting 11 Ks, right? Yeah, you're deleting 11 Ks with this guy, which is not awful. Right, you're deleting 18 Ks, you're deleting, or you know, let's move on, you're deleting 16 Ks. All right, no, you're deleting, this goes up, so you're deleting 8 Ks with the first effect there. Yeah, not bad, not awful at all, right? Like this is it's just a good card. I like the card. We're actually playing the Genku where the other player wasn't. Just kind of beefing up this red situation is just not bad. Leopardmon seeing a return in both decks I think is very interesting, just because of like, yeah, just being able to play, just the combos that let you play your Omnimon sooner or just get more and more relevant. I think players are deciding. But let's talk about our 5th place. So anyway, congrats Cam, getting your invite. You got 6th place. Let's talk about our last Royal Knights. This one is 5th place, 702. So 2 draws. Marlowe, I believe we saw them on stream a few times, drawing into Hong themselves. Also on the Dynasmon, Leopardmon, also having the Genkumon. So our higher 2 players decided that Genkumon was the better guy. Actually playing the Alphamon was always a curious case of Benjamin Button when I see people actually include the BT13 Alphamon for the Floodgate effect. 10 cost or higher can't attack, I believe is the effect here. Yeah, 10 cost or higher can't attack the player, which is kind of interesting. It does well out certain things, like we're talking like maybe Magidramon's Gallantmon plays we're stopping. Marlowe here not playing any of the promo Gallant, it looks like, is really an interesting decision that they've made. From beyond that, nothing. You're noticing that Marlowe didn't play anything fancy. No Floodgate protection, no Crimson Blaze, no Gotsus, no Queen's Device, no War Growls, no Digimon Emperors, just, you know, raw, just raw Royal Knights, right? Like, I mean, it depends on how you count Medieval, but one of Medieval, and the rest just, and then Crimson Mode, honorary Royal Knight at this point, just because how busted it is with Omnimon X antibody, end of turn effect, attack, and just go for game. Feels like you can't go without that in this deck. But yeah, no, congrats Marlowe, 5th place. Now for the part of the video that we dread, man, oh man, let's talk about 6 different Magidramons. I hope I'm gonna get to each of you guys. I promise. But man, am I gonna get tired. Here we're talking about 15th place, Dominic. Magidramon is an interesting deck, right? Like it's kind of like purple hybrid in terms of like it's abusing the Gallantmons, right? But it's also abusing the current world of Jackraid, right? Gravity Crush is the only remaining version of Jackraid that we have. We even play Jackraid at 1, so we're just playing a ton of memory gainers, right? We are like, the community is just speed running Grav Crush 2-1. It's gonna be like, at this point, I'm pretty sure everyone's convinced that the Gravity Crush is going to be gonna go to one copy on the ban list here pretty soon, coming up in, I guess, after Nats is when I expect the next ban list. So we'll see, which is September, by the way. But yeah, no, we're playing. I think the list pretty much, there's not gonna be much to talk about between all these Megidra lists. I think the list kind of does build itself once you actually put in the mindset of just going full memory option stuff, right? So we're maxing out on all copies of BT21 stuff. Rookie, 4, 5, 6, done, easy peasy. Maxing out on the X antibody versions of the 3 and the 4. Maxing out on Rush Geo here. Maybe that's not always the choice we have, but maxing out on the Rush Geo, it's key to our combo. Playing 2 of this War Growl does delete a 3k or less for, you know, floodgate potential. Trying to get rid of those nasty memory blockers is probably the big thing we're worried about most of the time. And then War Growl Skull Gray is also a nice counter for things like Hexblow, and like just gets rid of just pesky boards. It's a really nice answer to a lot of things, so really cool there. Like this is definitely the innovation we see in Megidramon for like just dealing with pesky things. 1 medieval Gallant, it is a Gallant, so we can always recycle it, which is busted. And then 2 and 2 split of both of the cost reduced on play, all of the on play Gallants, so promo and secret. 4 Megidra, 4 Grav Crush, 1 calling, 1 calling of darkness, 4 training, 4 boost. Notably, Dominic here is not doing any kind of cross breeding with with their trainings or their memory boosts. They're just, sometimes you will see, and we'll probably see going forward in a different list, players are opting to try to max out on wisdom, but also adding things like the red training, the red memory boost. The deck doesn't have a red. There is no red purple mem boost yet for the deck, so it's coming, but we don't have it yet. So people are trying to find ways to just have more just boosting ability essentially in the early stages of the game. Being able to consistently see that is really nice. We're gonna move on to the next list. Raymond Fuentes. I don't know. 7 and 2, 14th place. It's Megidramon, man. 1 Jack Rate, only 3 Grav Crush, but because of the 3 Grav Crush, we're trying to fill in a little bit of other stuff. So 2 mem boost, but we added in a demonic disaster to delete our Digimon or get an unsuspend unsuspectedly. We added a Digimon I design for, you know, this thing comes up in security all the time. Gaining 1 memory and then placing it is insane, but it's not a mandate. Its delay effect is kind of crazy. It sounds crazy, but it just doesn't feel like it's mandatory for the deck. 1 red scramble, 1 purple scramble. The red scramble, I believe, for like in case you want to digivolve into the promo or the medieval. I wonder why red. Why not just 2 blue? Maybe it is so you can maybe decide to go into these pure red guys, the Gallants. I guess that makes sense. Those are where we see the key differences. After that, everything else is about the same. Instead of 2 and 2 split here, we cut a Megidramon to fit in a War Growl X. Kind of helps us against the War Growl X. Definitely helps sometimes against like getting bounced or whatever on your Megidra turn. It's just, I feel like a lot of times the deck kind of needs this when attacking effect to really work. Digivolving for the raw 4, it's very like, even though they do run all these boosts and trainings, it does feel like digivolving for 4 and getting the attack after going all the way to a War Growl X just doesn't seem as common or as viable for the deck. So this War Growl X often feels like a bait to me for deck building, but I mean, if they were able to make it work, if Raymond wasn't able to make it work, then I can't disagree with the logic. It just feel like this is a pain point in the deck right now. So people are trying it because they don't want to get bounced, but I think most of the time they're just kind of baiting themselves into an awkward game state either way, but I could be wrong. Congrats, Raymond. 14th place, 7 and 2. Once again, congratulations. Again, all these players playing. Oh, you chose not to have the Skull Gray. You actually went with the War Growl X Antibody instead of the Skull Gray. Interesting. Our next list will be John Rosario, another Fort Lauderdale homie. I don't know how to say that last name. Forgive me, man. 7-2, 11th place, getting your invite nice and early this time instead of waiting till the last event possible. Only 3 Geo X, I guess. I know. Maybe Geo X, did crimes to you or something. I don't know why you would cut down on this guy. That's crazy. Oh, I see why. We're going max on this. Cutting one of the Growlmons, but still having it there. Skull Greymon, just a great utility piece. Medieval Gallant, 2 and 1 on the Gallant Mons. Full 4 Megidra, full 4 Grav Crush, 1 Jack Raid, 1 Calling. No extra fancy tricks, no scrambles, no demonic disasters. But we are on a full 4 copies of the offense training, the off color, as I would like to say. It makes sense. The deck kind of has to find. The deck really is trying to find these secret rares of the on-play Galamons. It's a pretty important part of the combo, I would say. So you need to be able to at least find 1 to 2 copies in between finding all your Grav Crushes. Also, the offense training is able to pick up the Grav Crushes. That's another key point of what offense training offers the deck. So it's kind of it's rough because we are on the purple digi bubble, right? So there are I'm sure there's been many a game where we're just locked. Our hand is offense training, no rookie, and Digimon, and we're just crying. But either way, we've made it to 11th place with this version of the list, so the benefits probably outweigh the negatives in the long run, and maybe sometimes we just get lucky with a good run. Either way, congrats, John, on 11th place. Yeah, no, this is right. This was John's list and Skull Gray. And then we get to talk about the next Megidramon, Roque Perez. One of my #1 fans in chat, man. I'll never forget you. You're a pleasure to have in our chat, in the community, in the Risu the Squirrel community, and the Digimon community as a whole. Awesome job. Really happy you were able to perform at this tournament. You have different choices in your list as well. Cutting on the Geo X, upping the War Growl, no Skull Greymon, 1 Medieval, 2-2-1, also a 2-1 split on the promo to Secret Rare Gallant Mons, cutting a Megidramon as well, cutting a Grav Crush as well. All of this so you can fit in 2 Digimon, the Digimon I designed, and 3 offense trainings, and then also obviously upping this normally is the Skull Gray slot, which you bumped up to 2 copies. Interesting. You made it all. This took you all the way to 9th place, 7-1-1. So maybe the War Growl is important. I would love to know from these players that use the War Growl X anybody how often this was actually a viable play where it actually benefited you and you were actually still able to go into Megidramon and do your thing. I know some people in the chat are being like, Risu, you just triple Grav Crush in a single turn. You have all the memory in the world. It's it just doesn't always work that way, man. I wanna hear it from the horse's mouth, But that being said, congrats, Megidramon. Like I said, there's not a lot of differences, just these tiny little nuances between everybody's decks. But the deck really does build itself after you tell yourself, I am maxing out. I am memory maxing? I don't know. Once you commit to the mem maxing, the deck does kind of fall into place itself, at least in terms of all the topping lists we see. Next, 8th place, 7-1-1, Gabriel Flores, playing 3 of the Rush Geo. I guess I could see that. You only really need to see 2 of this guy, so the 3rd and the 4th copy tend to be redundant if you go through enough of your deck. Only 1 of the backup Growlmon, so we can fit in 2 War Growl X Anybody and our Skull Gray. So we're trying to have our cake and eat it too. 1 Skull Greymon still. 1-1 split on our Secret Rares feels kind of, wow, that feels kind of tight. But I mean, you obviously made it work. 4 Grav Crush, 1 Jack Raid, 1 Calling. You're adding all the tricks to this one. 2 Mem Boost, 1 Crimson Blaze. I imagine for things like the Mirror or anything else trying to play Digimon, like Adventure 2, Royal Knights sometimes. I get it. 4 Wisdom Training, and then finding time to put in 2 offense trainings. Pretty good. No, congrats on 8th place, cutting cutting it into the top 8. Awesome stuff. And then fourth place. We're gonna move on to fourth place. Miko Correa. Sean Correa. Very much a more trimmed down version of the deck, as you could see. We have the Gios, no backup Groundmon, so only 8 level 4s. Wow. Very greedy. Very greedy in terms of consistency to only go on 8 level 4s, but obviously you made it work. No Skull Gray, having 2 of the War Growls. Also, let me know how often this guy really came up for you. 2 and 1 split on our promo to secret rare ratio on the Gallantmons of the full 4 Megidramons, 4 Graph Crush, 1 Jack Raid, 1 Calling, 4 Wisdom, 2 the Digimon I designed, 3 Mem Boost, and then 3 Analog Youth is interesting. I think a lot of people kind of state that their opinion is like Analog Youth isn't necessary for the deck, isn't needed for the deck, but I mean, like, you're one of the, are you the best performing Megidra? I think you are. So the only list using Analog Youth, and you have the best record, only tying twice, not even actually having a draw, actually just tying twice and going 7 wins, which impressive work, Sean. Congrats. Top 4 is an amazing achievement. Congratulations. And I don't know, that's it. Tell me if the War Growl was useful. Oh, and also Analog Youth, because you're the only one who did it, so that's kind of cool. Then we get to move on to our top 3 deck lists. Red, Purple, Imperial. Definitely Dorian Cortez Bornes. That rhymes, and that's funny. Red, Purple, Imperial is definitely not a list I've been able to talk about too much, just because of being on a break and all this stuff. But 4 Analog Youth, 3 Mem Boost, 1 Purple Moon Boost. Preferring Miss Memory Boost over anything else is kind of, I guess it makes sense. You need to fill in your trash. Like, there's so many things that this deck needs to go. There's a few things that this deck needs to go in their way, right? We need to see a level 4 in trash. We need to see a rookie in trash. We need another level 4 in trash some of the times, right? Like, there's a lot that needs to go right, but we're seeing a lot of the same stuff too, right? 1 and 1 of this XV and Stingmon, just to have some diversity, some flavor to our what we can do on our turn. 4 of the promo, it's $1 million for a reason. 2 of the Shadramon, 2 of the Flamedramon, just backup level 4s, really just make sure we can fully participate in our combo is really what it is, right? 2 Pyldramon, the old one. Always question, like, I always feel like, why, like, is it for the security attack plus? No, it can't be. Why would we play more this one? Like, I still, like, maybe someone can explain it to me, but this one is where I trip up. Like, why is there value in this one? Because I guess it acts as a I guess I see it. It acts as a 5th and 6th copy of Dino Bee, being able to play out the one from the other from trash. I guess that's really important, being able to pull off that combo. Deletion protection, Pyldramon, awesome. Plus 4k, awesome. Well, I guess the plus 4k isn't actually real, but it does let this guy attack, raid, piercing, plus 4k, which is relevant. This guy's swinging at 12k. Raid is kind of good, right? And then the Dino Bee, bounce protection, lets us cheat into a dragon mode potentially. Busted 1 ace, 1 dragon mode ace, 4 of the original EX3 dragon mode. Fighter mode, floodgates are good. 3 of this guy, 1 calling, 1 demonic disaster, 1 scramble, 3 miss memory boost, 4 analog youth. This is also, analog youth has been kind of contentious lately. Like, I feel like a lot of people, at least the words that I keep hearing is that, like, why are people playing analog youth in Red, Purple, Imperial? Why are people playing it in Megidra? It's not that good. It's just slowing you down. I don't know. 3rd place. 3rd place says more to me than, words, I guess. Congrats, Dorian, on 3rd place. Now we get to talk about, we're going to move on to 2nd place. We get to talk about NA Nationals, 2nd place, Mman Khan, aka Donkey Nog. We've had him on the show a couple times. Great guy, wonderful player, one of the best. Playing their favorite deck as of the past, like, man, it's been a minute, man. They've been on this deck for a while now. They just Mman loves this deck, man. Lord Knight, I guess I can finally call it Lord Knight Levia, right? For a while, this deck has predominantly been a Leviamon deck, right? But now, like, we've got a fairly even split. And just having the two Lord Knight kind of pushes this more towards a Lord Knight deck than it is a Levia deck. And no Biting Crush kind of confirms that, like, our main game plan is Lord Knight X, right? Traditional dog engine stuff like 4 Gobbly, Labra, Gabu X, Dober X. Actually, more Dobers than I feel like has been traditional. Actually, 2 Cerberus is actually an interesting include as well as the Garu. Deltamon for Floodgates makes sense. But it was actually interesting to see Mman play out their turns, and they definitely loved they go Gobbly into Dober X into Dober in the back was a very much a common play where they would, because they are not they're not on the full 8 suite of Purple Memboost, Wisdom Training, and maybe playing one of the off-color ones, as we saw a lot in the back in the day. We added Cool Boys, which is another huge thing. The one time I got to play Mman in person in tournament, the biggest flaw of the deck, the biggest hindrance of the deck was really finding protoforms. So I'm sure they have a video, so go watch the video. Always watch the video, don't watch me. Well, still watch me, but like, I'm just conjecture here. I didn't actually talk to Mman about their run. So, but I do know what we've talked about before, and finding protoform is like one of the biggest things this deck struggles with in terms of like what costs you, what loses you a game, and it's finding protoform, right? That's one of the biggest things. Adding the Cool Boys helps with that, and we saw the Cool Boys definitely allow for a lot of turn extension. Just being able to go Lord Knight X, tap Cool Boy, gain a memory, keep turn, draw an extra card. It just added that beautiful draw power. It made like going Gobbly into Dober in the back infinitely better, because you just go Gobbly, Dober in the back, play Cool Boy, pass turn, play training, I guess, come out. Dober X, Cool Boy gains you a memory, Gobbly gains you a memory. You have 2 memory on the board now, and this is memory from a tamer, so it can't be blocked by anything. Go Cerberus, training into the Cerberus X. It just made so many of the plays so much, like, it just made, like, watching them play the deck, it just was so fluid to watch. And then the biggest thing I think we would add in terms of like the biggest last thing to really talk about, I mean, the one off Anubis is insane, right? Like, it's still a good card, it's that one for a reason. The biggest thing I would include is the fact that we are adding the official BT21 ad is the Darkdramon Ace. Scapegoat, de-digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon, then delete all of their lowest play cost Digimon, which is definitely can trap a lot of people. This thing can kind of catch people off guard. It makes me feel like there's a world where like this thing, the Darkdramon Ace, might be like lightning in a bottle almost. Like, it's gonna work for like this event, maybe next event, the couple events prior, but like as people kind of wake up to this card existing, I think it's gonna lose a lot of power. So maybe I'm crazy, maybe that's weird. Well, I just have to see going forward. After that, Scramble, Mem Boost, 7th Lightning, no Biting Crush is crazy, but I kind of like where they're going with it, right? Like, the Cool Boys kind of push it into a more Lord Knight deck, and then Levia X is still just a wonderful combo, Protoform, Drago. Like, it's just like a backup play. It's just interesting that like the backup play kind of takes up the same amount of slots as our main play. It's just funny. Like, that's just something curious how consistently they were able to draw. I mean, the deck draws so many cards, and then we're playing 3-2 split on our Floodgates. That's it. Donkey Nog, if they have a video, please check it out. I haven't seen a video yet, but like, I also haven't been looking for it just because life is busy. But speaking of somebody that does have their video out, my cat is freaking out. First place, Hong Alexander Fun. Fam? Is it a PH? Fam? I don't know, man. Someone's gonna. Oh my god, I would love a phonetics class in anything and everything. Last names, man, because I'm a disaster. Hong from the Hong Zero channel. We're playing. 1 second. Sorry, we're back. Anyway, Godfather of DCGO, taking adventure to the top. I'm so happy he was able to pull this off, man. Like, I can't express how much I'm like, man, I had so much faith in this deck. Like, you know, as I always tell my chat, like, I'm like, coaches don't play, so like, I'm not competing, sorry. But like, every time I'd play this game or play this deck, I felt like I was stomping locals constantly. Like, you know, this deck does have a couple silver bullets that I still need to figure out. Like, I still don't know how to beat Galacti, for example, which is rough. But like, enough about me. Hong Zero, first person in the world to not only top win, topping is one thing, and then also winning, like doing both with adventure in a single swoop. Congratulations, first place, insane. There's a lot of deck building decisions. You can watch his video. He kind of explains that he was more of the pilot than the deck builder, which is whatever. I kind of predicted that with Convergence that we were probably going to see more of that, or we're going to see more like pilots just borrowing decks and like, you know, stuff like that. Deck builders getting rewarded by giving their decks to better pilots is definitely something I anticipated as well, but that's just because other card games do that. It's nothing crazy. But I would say, as anyone building adventure, I think like the clear thing, like we can go piece by piece, but like let's just start at the most important thing that Hong, like this list is. No Andrew Wumon. I think everyone in every video out there was like, Andrew Wumon is probably the best level 5, right? Like, obviously Lily's good. Everyone knows how good Lily is. People were waking up to Skullgray, and kind of everyone's starting to see the value in each of the 5s, right? But for sure, everyone loved. It's just fun to play the Andrew Wumon, right? But Hong Zero here, obviously playing none, right? And I think this, like, the thing about playing no Andrew Wumons really does, I think that goes underrated. And I'm not sure if he mentioned in the video, but if you're not playing Andrew Wumon, this is as someone who plays the deck a lot as well. If you're not playing Andrew Wumon, you don't need to play Agumon. You don't need to play Gabumon. And from there, because of that, Hong was able to fit in and make the decision to play Tentomon, play Gomamon, play our very valuable floodgates. Everybody's playing boosts. Everyone's playing trainings. Everyone has cost reduction in some, or Evo reduction in some way. And, you know, Tentomon, Gomamon, that duo right now is kind of like probably the best floodgate for what's around us right now. I mean, they don't do anything to Royal Knights. I mean, Gomamon does a little bit of Royal Knights, but you guys get it. But let's 3 Gomamon, 2 Palmon, 4 Biomon, 2 Tento, 3 Toga, 4 Birdra. And I'll stop right here to talk about the Toga versus Birdramon thing. I kind of was on the reverse personally. I was like, oh, I prefer the Togemon. All turns plus 1k kind of feels nice versus the your turn 2k, because on your turn, like, it doesn't really matter how big, like, it's so quick for you to get to an irrelevantly big number that, like, the plus 1k I never felt was super important. But Hong actually in their video makes a good point that, like, Togemon, this inheritable all turns kind of makes your level 6's 13k on your opponent's turn, which is a very magical number right now, especially when you're talking about promo Gallantmon. So very, very astute call there to just say, I want to dodge that. So Birdramon's the more important. It's warping level 4. Playing the Gatomon, the security bombs, not something I considered, but definitely being able to give 2 of your opponent's security -1 is very good. Just a good card. Probably came up. They probably came up a good amount. No Garurumon for recursion, but I mean, if you don't need it, you don't need it, right? If you just win the game before, like, you need to loop too many pieces, it's probably right. And then just a 2-2 split across this board on most of the level 5s, except we're actually playing 3 of the Kabuterimon. being able to unsuspend yourself and then suspend an opponent's suspend an opponent's Digimon for every 2 colors you have, not bad, right? That just isn't bad. Combos very nicely with, if you can pull off a Kabuterimon into a Lilymon afterwards, kind of gross. So I'm sure we saw that. 2 Skull Gray. Yeah, no, just two here, just all definitely these are definitely the collection. Like, I don't think we're gonna see I agree with the idea that like the Garuda's kind of overkill, the Angemon isn't, or the Magna Angemon just isn't good. It's just sad because that's the super rare, but those 2 guards kind of fall to the wayside, and you kind of like, we just always want your 5s to be doing something, which is why we they moved away from Angelwoman, which, you know, smart. Like it's just definitely like, it just opens up the bottom end of the deck so well into being able to play the floodgates that you don't even I bet they don't even miss the Angelwoman. Metal Garurumon at 3. Also a curious point. I like Metal Garurumon definitely allows you to go wide and maintain your board. Like it lets you go into a level 6, make another level 5, right? Because oftentimes on your turn, if you're making a 6, you kind of give up some of your play, right? You're going into a 6, so your 6s have overflow, which sucks. But Garuru, if you go on your turn, and then the bottom decking is really relevant against things like Megidra and Royal Knights as well. But I think fundamentally there is and it's targeted too. You can, with Metal Garurumon, you can pick what Digimon you are removing, whereas the War Gray, it's always the lowest, but has the potential to do 2 in a single turn, which is nice. However, Metal Gray, I think the Metal Garurumon has the key advantage of, like, everyone at first was like, oh, Metal Garurumon is the aggressive one, right? We're getting more bodies, we're gonna alliance more, but the Metal Garurumon, honestly, is kind of defensive too, right? Because sure, I'm giving up, when I digivolve into my 6, I'm giving up that body as an ace target. I'm also giving up that body in terms of, this is now a memory bank for my opponent, so that kind of sucks. So I'm gonna swing, and I'm gonna make a new stack, and I'm gonna be able to digivolve, get some removal, get some utility, go into a 5, play a Togemon, go into a 5, and then I get to sit on that level 5 for arguably the best option card in the game right now, Our Courage United. Maintaining level 5s on board is probably one of the most important things you can do in this deck, and on top of that, maintaining something that can block as well is really important, right? We're playing 2-2-3-3 split. This ratio makes sense. Hong definitely went on record saying that they really value the Matt and TK giving everything rush. That was the most important thing to them in terms of tamers. Hence, you pair it with Joe and Mimi, because with these are the better color pair. But in 2 tamers, you'll have 4 colors, and then you kind of still want to get to 6 colors somehow. So you still play a collection of these 2. 2-2 split. Blocker's still important. Memory is nice. No matter which combination you have, you still have 3, but you're really trying to hit. You're really hoping for 4. So, right, so you can get the Joe and Sora, the double mem for 4. You can get the Matt and Tai, get 4, and then the Tai Kamiya secret rare. So this guy is really good. I go back and forth on, like, I think 2 is right. Right now I'm playing 3. I think 3 is good too, but I definitely like this card has its place in the deck. It is a little awkward to play sometimes. And I guess I didn't even talk about it, like not playing any of the tamer setting level 4s. I think that is something I've been saying since like day 1, man. Like it's like, you just want the deck to always do something, man. And like the fact that those level 4s aren't on play, right? So that's already like pretty bad for what the deck is usually trying to do. You're trying to play your stuff, so having things that don't have on play better be freaking good, and they're not, right? Like the only thing without it on play in this deck right now, taking a look, are the floodgates, which have value, right? So just making sure that everything you're playing with this deck has an on play is really important. So not playing any of the tamers that are level 4s, because in the late game they also kind of suck too, because at that point, if you're still trying to play your second tamer, you've lost the game. So maybe a hot take there. I don't think it's a hot take. Like it's nice to see it, like some of the stuff I've been thinking about the deck actually work out, and like they were so fun to watch on stream. It was a joy. They did plays. They were amazing. Using the Skull Gray to give the Gomamon raid retaliation so we could swing into a level 6. That play was really cool. Definitely check out the stream, man, and watch Hong at work, man. Just watch this deck in motion. Watch Hong play. It was great. It was a treat. It was a joy. Watch their video explaining everything. That's the Hong Zero channel. But yeah, man, that was our tournament. It was so good. It was great. It was great to watch. Is Megidra a problem? Maybe, probably, but like it's kind of like the hero we deserve right now. It's the hero we need to get Grav Crush set to 1. But I don't know. I guess it depends on where the metagame goes from here. I feel like Megidramon is kind of a glass cannon a little bit, if like you can just, you know, like a good old Shadow Seraphi, and this thing is, you know, toasted. A good old Bond of Friendship, toasted. A good old bounce and bottom deck Digivolve Aces, like roasted, bro. Like this guy's not as great as people like it to be. I feel anyway. Maybe I'm crazy. Man, I'm just dumb. I'm like, again, I'm not on the field playing against 371 players. So, But that being said, I'm out of breath. I'm gonna sign us off. Check out the webcams. Check out the streams I do every week, twice a week, 3 times a week, whatever it is. Come check it out. I hope you guys enjoy, and always tune in for the next one. Oh man, become a member, I guess. I don't know what else can I do. Digipanda merch, I guess. We're out. We're done.